To a child, a zoo is a magical place, a place of wonders with awe-inspiring animals from faraway lands. A zoo is an odd place to begin your thoughts on the Holocaust, but once you look past the initial awe of an animal that you've only read or heard about, you begin to realize the catastrophe at hand. In some ways, zoos are places of destruction, of sadness. We pay money to see creatures taken from their natural habitats, creatures thrown into a life of loneliness and a life void of the joys of freedom. Many times, these animals are not properly taken care of. They are living in habitats that are not their own. They are being fed food without the proper nutrition, or barely being fed at all. Victims of the Holocaust were treated as animals. They were put on display for the perpetrators to watch with awe at humans' ability to die. The victims were taken from their homes, taken from their identities, and forced into a life of captivity. They were forced to live in rooms that could hardly hold the mass amount of individuals. These people were forced to live off scarce amounts of food that would barely be called breakfast. They were dehumanized. The Wannsee Conference was held in order to solve a pressing problem for the Nazis: what to do with the large amount of Jews who are being taken from their homes, from their lives. It became a problem that focused more on the lack of resources than the fact that they were deciding the fate of millions of people. As outlined in the document from the Wannsee Conference, Jews were to be rounded up from all over Europe, forced into labor camps, forced to do work that was hoped would ultimately lead to their demise. The labor was horrific, labor not fit for animals, let alone humans. William Sell, a survivor of Sachsenhausen, recounted his terrible experience in a labor camp. He said, "The carts, they were pulled by people, by prisoners, harnessed like horses, harnessed for pulling, bound fast to the shaft of the cart. Unbelievable." William Sell thought this to be unbelievable, to see a human treated as an animal. What he did not realize was that it was happening all around him. It was happening to him and his loved ones. All the victims were treated as animals in order to further dehumanize them, in order to make the torture possible. Resbestand, meaning to take stock, a word found directly in the text of the Wannsee Conference. Anyone still living after their forced labor was to be taken stock of, to be counted, and then to be exterminated. The Wannsee Conference is a prime example of what it means to dehumanize a person, a group of people. These victims were taken down to the level of an animal, something to take stock of. They were not referred to as people because that's too human, and no one could torture and murder a human the way they did. A zoo is an unlikely place to find meaning in the Holocaust, which stands to show how horrendous the Holocaust really was, because there is actually a way to compare humans to animals. The Holocaust makes this comparison clear, makes this comparison inevitable, a catastrophe in its own right, a catastrophe we must be sure to never repeat.